baby! And I want to ride a meat bicycle built for two! So Borderlands 3 is now available pretty much by the time you see this. Reviews are starting to trickle out, even though a lot of people did not get review copies. I did get a review copy, so I'll get to tell you my impressions of the game, the storyline, the mechanics, and things along that lines. But it's been quite a rocky road to get here. Controversy after controversy. Fortunately, the folks over at Gearbox put together a really good game, so I'm not here to talk about the controversies. I'm here to talk about the game. Now, before I get into this, I should point out the fact that the folks over at Gearbox have been very, very good to me. I got to come out and stream the game for you guys. I got to play the game a couple of times. I got to go to their launch event and things along that line, so maybe I'm a little bit biased. And I should also say that I've been playing the Borderlands series since Borderlands 1, putting some 100 hours into each game. Except, of course, I didn't really enjoy the pre-sequel, but then again, nobody did. But I do want to say, before we get started, I am a bit of a fanboy, so if you're not interested in hearing what a fanboy has to say, you may want to skip this review and find somebody else's. There is one controversy I will talk about here, though, and that's because I am a part of it, and that's the review codes. I was one of the very few lucky people to get a review code, and a lot of people are complaining that they didn't, including some major publications. And I will go ahead and tell you, 2K Games has said that this is a matter of security. They didn't want the game leaking. They didn't want spoilers. They wanted only very trusted publications and YouTubers to get access to this stuff, and I was lucky to be included on that list. But I will betray them a little bit here by saying that the version of the game that I played was not the same version you'll purchase today or tomorrow. I did not get to play the retail version of the game. The code that I was playing was much older. So any of the bugs that I might have experienced may not be in the retail version, and that's something you would keep in mind. Now, I will tell you, I only experienced a handful of bugs, mostly slight UI issues, and then a handful of quests that would not immediately be progressible, that I would have to quit the desktop and reload the game to complete the quest. And I think that only happened like twice. And when we take a look at the Metacritic review scores, we currently have an 85. Of course, I would expect the user reviews to be much lower than that based on the fact that there's been so many controversies and this game has upset so many people. But I do think an 85 is probably about where I would put this game if I gave it a score. I think it's just a very, very good game. It does feel a little bit dated. It is very much more Borderlands with a lot of life improvements, lifestyle improvements, like it's fast travel and better guns and more interesting stuff to do. But yeah, it's pretty much just more Borderlands. And I want to take a look at some of these reviews, and I'll tell you what I agree with and what I don't agree with. The highest review on Metacritic right now is by XGN, giving it a 95, and they say the Borderlands 3 has surpassed the bar that its predecessors had set. The story is grand in scale, the humor is on point and updated to 2019. Weapons are diverse, and the new Vault Hunters are unique in every way. Every Borderlands fan must pick this game up. And I absolutely agree. If you have played any previous Borderlands game and you have been a fan of that game, this is just way more of that and way more over the top with just better guns and a better story and better characters and better Vault Hunters and a better customization system, and it's better than any other Borderlands game. Now that doesn't mean it's better than your favorite game, but if it's the best Borderlands game to come out so far. Then on the opposite side of the scale, we have PC Gamer ranking it at 63, saying an endless font of bad jokes and cool guns in the series' most vapid story yet. And I think that's going to be a place where you're going to see a lot of the complaints. Either people don't get the sense of humor or they don't like the sense of humor that the Borderlands series has, so that's going to turn them off, though they may still like the gameplay and the guns. I feel that this storyline is very different from the ones that have been told before in either Borderlands 1 or Borderlands 2, and honestly, there wasn't much of a story in the pre-sequel. I really enjoyed the storyline in this, and I enjoyed all of the side characters, the main characters, the story beats. No spoilers here, but I have to say, the Calypso twins had a lot to live up to. It's difficult to live up to Handsome Jack because he's one of the best villains in any video game ever, but I think they do a fairly reasonable job. They're never going to be as near as good as Handsome Jack. No one ever is. He's the Walter White of video games. But at the end of the day, the Calypso twins were a lot of fun to play against, and they were a lot of fun to kill. One of the complaints I've heard about the Calypso twins so far is that they are kind of making fun of social media stars and YouTubers, and some people on YouTube seem to take offense at that, feeling like that they are making fun of us or me or you specifically. Here's the thing. The Calypso twins are innately evil. They are murdering their followers. So look, if you're not you're not murdering your followers, I wouldn't worry about it, okay? I don't think they're making fun of you, so don't be such a snowflake. It's a funny storyline. It's a really interesting hook. It's something that I honestly don't think has been done in a video game before, taking religion and replacing it with social media, maybe. But other than that, it's a really unique story, and I really enjoyed it.
Followers will do anything I ask. Oh, here, quick demo. Hey, you! Cut off your favorite leg. Full Tyrene! I didn't say both. He cut off both. Now he's trying to stand on his stumps. 1 second. They just taste better when they're afraid.
Gamespot has a review that I think I agree with a little more than average. Borderlands 3 has a few stumbling blocks when it comes to the bosses, but these fights are overshadowed by the game's rewarding gunplay and over-the-top humor. And yeah, there are some serious bullet sponges in this game, but most bosses, and even mini bosses, have multiple phases and multiple gimmicks and multiple stuff to do and different ways that you will need to fight them, as well as different resistances. I mean, they're way more interesting than a lot of the bosses you would see in your average Tom Clancy game, or The Division, or Destiny, or things along that lines. Yes, they do have bullet sponge issues for the most part, and fights will take you a really long time, especially if you're under-leveled and you're under-geared, but for the most part, most of the boss fights are really fun. But the real star of the game, of course, is the combat and the guns here. And the combat itself has been improved greatly this time around, whether it's the ability to run and slide, the ability to climb up stuff, the ability to just traverse the world a little bit easier, doing the smash attacks. Combat feels a lot more fluid and interesting. The NPCs have a much better AI, and there's a lot more variety in the monsters, including the anointed characters, which you can spawn on top of, like, you're used to badasses. Now you have these anointed creatures towards the end of the game and in later playthroughs, and they can be nearly impossible to kill. It's like a mini boss fight spawning right in the middle of regular monsters. So there's a ton of variety. And when it comes to the guns, I'm sure by now you know all of the different improvements that are there, including guns that have multiple firing modes. That was probably one of my favorite features from the previews. And even though I didn't find that many guns that I wanted to use that had the multiple firing modes in my playthrough, I did still love the guns that I got. The legendaries this time seem way more plentiful. I probably got maybe a total of 10 or 15 through my playthrough, and every single one of them were just really fun to use. The legendaries this time are just, the loot tables this time are just massive. I don't think it would be possible to see every gun in this game if you played this game for 1,000 hours. And then when it comes to the high-end grind, you have trying to get the absolute perfect version of a perfect gun. There's so many modifiers, including the new anointed modifier, that you could be searching for the exact perfect build of a particular gun over and over and over again. There's limitless gameplay if you are into that kind of grind. And going back to the style of writing and the sense of humor and the storyline, I have to say that I still really enjoy this pretty much juvenile sense of humor that they have in the Gearbox offices. I mean, this game has always been very tongue-in-cheek and very silly and very over-the-top, and every side quest that I did was well-written. The main storyline was well-written. Everything was just kind of fun and enjoyable. And the thing that makes all of these side quests, these fetch quests, so much more fun to do is basically the fact that there's always an NPC that you're interacting with that's talking to you through your Echo device, giving you jokes, giving you advice, telling you what to do, how to do it, why you're doing it. It just really comes down to the writing. I think if you don't enjoy the style of writing, you can probably get by on just the gameplay alone, but if you enjoy the style of writing, I think even if the gameplay sucked, you would still want to play through this game at least once. Now, because I find there to be such variety in the storylines and so many side quests and so much stuff I didn't do in my first playthrough, I'm looking forward to true Vault Hunter mode and the second playthrough that I'll be doing hopefully on stream with you guys. So overall, just an absolutely incredible game. Again, I am biased. This is one of my favorite video game series of all time. Check my Steam account and you'll see how many hours I put into these games, and that's just on the Steam versions alone. I've already put 30 hours into this, and I can't wait to put another 30 on top of that. and I hope that you guys will be playing with me. Now, this is all just one man's opinion. I could be wrong, and I'm curious to see what you guys think in the comment section below. Are you going to play Borderlands 3, or are you going to skip it? Are you going to wait till it's on Steam, or are you going to buckle down and buy it on Xbox, PlayStation, the Epic Store? Do me a favor, while you're down there, drop a like on this video. Let the world know that you liked it, and let me know that you liked it as well. And while you're down there, if you haven't hit subscribe, please do. If you already hit subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can see more videos like this as soon as they launch. Guys, as always, thanks for watching. I love you very much, and I'll speak with you again soon.